Hello, this is Mr. Heeb, and today we're going to calculate density with a GUI. So the difference about this GUI is it's going to be in a gridded layout rather than a layout, the common layout where it's just going to go in the middle. So I have it set up with the basic information. We import it, we set up an app. The only difference is now I say layout equals grid. So we have to pay attention that every widget that we create is placed somewhere in the grid using a grid. So first off, let's make a text widget in the app, and let's say we're calculating density, letting people know what we're doing, and then we're going to have a grid, and we're going to start out at 1, 1. Now we're going to have another text, and we're going to enter the mass, and then we're going to have the grid right below it. So below it is changing the y, and we'll increase the y to move it further down. See how it moves further down? Now if you look at this, it's still centering these. And so it's not directly lined up on the left hand side. I don't like that. I like it aligned on the left. So I'm going to say align equals left on both of these. Alright, now it should be looking much better. Yes, that looks more tolerable. And now we have one more text that we need to create because we want people to enter the volume. So we're going to grid that one more below at 1, 3. Still align it to the left. All right. So now we have our 3 text apps. Then off to the right, we're going to need a place to type in the information right in here. So what we're going to do is make 2 text boxes. So text box is going to be in the app, and we're going to have to grid it. One text box is going to be to the right of the mass, so I'll say 2, 2. And then the other text box is going to be one below that, which is 2, 3. Now if we run this, that looks wonderful. Now we can type things in, but nothing's going to happen until we push a button. So let's create a push button in our app, and let's have the text say calculate. We're going to grid it one below our volume, so that would be 1, 4. And then we'll have to give it a command, something that it's going to do, like calculate. That makes sense. So now up here we have to define our function, calculate, and then we have to say what's happening. Well, I want to take this number here, and to get that number here, we need to give it a name, mass num, let's call it, and let's call the other one vol num. That way we can get the numbers out. We take the mass num and we divide the volume num. Now there's a few things wrong here. First off, this mass num isn't just the number, it's the whole text box widget. So we need to extract the value. So we say mass num dot value, and the same with the volume num. All right, so now we're going to take the mass number divided by the volume number, and now we have to set it equal to something, which I will say density. There's one more issue that pops up here, is our text box is going to take every thing and it's going to see it as a string, because we could put numbers or letters, so it's going to have the more general string. So we need to turn these into numbers. Now we could say int, but we learned in that last video that float makes a little bit more sense, so you can use decimals. Oh, I see a dot dot. And then once we have our density, let's put it in our app and let's display it. And then we also need a grid. Our grid is right below it. Let's have it at 1, 5. Oh, there we go. Now, let's see if I made any mistakes. So we run our app. If I type in 50, if I type in 4, if I hit calculate, oh, it says 12.5. That seems to make a lot of sense. All right, so it worked on our first try. All right, now we can work on it.